Well, once again, I'm Tiffany Tatum, and that was the sound of what I like to call the God essence. And for me, when those sounds came through, it was really a true understanding and a connection to the oneness and the vibrational frequency of all that is. It really helped me to recognize when in Genesis it says, thought became word, word became form, and the earth was sung into creation. It really helped me to experience that feeling. And I felt the essence of the Shekhinah, which was what the goddess called herself. She said, I am the Shekhinah, the Shekinah, the Shekinah, whatever we want to call it in the different traditions. I am the Sophia. I am the infinite cosmic mother. I am you. And when I really was able to grasp the feeling and the emotion and the depths of the emotion, I could recognize that the transmission that the Dalai Lama had passed on was that deep compassion. And it was through my empathy body, through the understanding of what everybody goes through, what everybody feels in the aspects of being human and being divine, and that we all have that, I was able to connect with all of consciousness. I was able to be one with the birds, be one with the trees, with the rocks, with the stones, with all of the beings that surrounded me. And this led into me doing my own sound healing journeys and picking up the rattles. Up to that point, I'd never picked up a rattle, I'd never played a drum, I'd never done anything musical. And all of a sudden, it's just, I felt I had to express myself shamanically. I had to express myself with these frequencies in whatever wanted to come through. And there was no needing to do something. There wasn't a need to go out and learn from somebody else, because it was all inside. And if I just released the fear, if I just allowed myself to open my mouth, as the goddess expressed to me, then the love would have just flowed through. And she said, there's nothing else but love. That's it. When we expand into the consciousness of the oneness, when we heal from our hearts, when we become one with the love, disease can't exist. The story can't exist. All of the pain in the past can't exist. It is the illusion that goes into the background. Because we recognize we are this love. And there's no need to struggle, there's no need for strife, there's no need for negativity, because this is our birthright. It is our birthright to experience heaven on earth. And we are that bridge and that divine conduit, each and every one of us. And I invite you to open your voice, even if it doesn't sound the same. I mean, I realized that I went through a rebirthing ceremony when I lived in Sacramento, California, about 8 months prior to going to see the Dalai Lama. And I would get in the bathtub every day and I would tone. And I would tone the sounds of the chakra. I would tone the vowel sounds. And I sounded like, you know what, it was not good. And I realized that I was very out of balance. My heart was shut down, my solar plexus. There were so many aspects of myself that were shut down, but I'd stay in the bath for hours and I would just move the energy. And it really didn't matter. I was by myself and I would just allow myself to express. And these are where the teachings came from. How do we clear through sound? How do we release the inhibitions, the fears, to allow ourselves to fully express from the heart? And in my workshops, or play shops, I've just renamed right now, is to really allow ourselves to play. To be free like children and to express the divinity of our souls in its freedom, to see the newness. What does it feel like to make this sound? What does it feel like? Do I look silly? Does it, how does it feel inside to channel the fairies? How does it feel to connect with the angelic realm? How does it feel to be with the standing nation of the trees? And when I started to allow that, then I really recognized that there was nothing that I couldn't be. There was nothing that I couldn't connect with, nothing that I couldn't love, nothing that I couldn't see or have compassion for. And so one of the most important teachings was when I went to Egypt, and Isis gave me the initiation of the Ankh. And it was during the time of my father's passing. My father died, and it was a very interesting time frame because it was on September the 26th, and it was a full harvest moon in Sedona. And it was at 6:36, and at the time my boyfriend came home, and he said, "Oh my gosh, there's a full harvest moon." And he says, "It's behind the Madonna child. It's a halo behind her head." And when I walked outside, there was this beautiful halo around the Madonna child's head, and I took a picture, and a being floated by. And later on, when I came inside, I got the message that my father had passed. And what I realized was, in a song by Tina Malia that came through, was she drew her halo much too near, no time to wait, no room to fear. And I realized that it was all such a blessing that in this passing, I was being gifted the understanding of life after death. Because immediately my father came to me and he said, "I bet you didn't know I was an angel." And when I blew up the orb in the picture, my dad was standing with wings. And he had his cowboy hat. He was a cowboy. So he had this cowboy hat and these wings. And he said, "I couldn't understand you in this lifetime, but I understand you, and I'm here to help you now." And this was the greatest gift, was the communication on a soul level that I could ever have from my father. And it really, really took me into the next stages of really walking between dimensions and being able to see that the illusion is that we only are in 3D. And so I was able to complete my fear and all of my past with my father by going home and singing toning, actually, in a Catholic church at his funeral in front of over several hundred people. And so it was the greatest gift of my life, and the goddess had told me when I was up on the mountain that day that I would activate churches, mosques, temples, synagogues, sacred sites, and people. And little did I know that it was going to be my father's funeral that would be the initiation that would open me up to being able to awaken to all aspects of being able to share these gifts. So there's so many of you out there who have these hidden gifts, that have these abilities to really connect with Source, to connect with your sacred higher self. And I invite you, through gentle kindness and lovingness, psychicism is just a byproduct of spirituality. The more we open up to our spirit, the more our gifts start to naturally unfold. And so I'd like to share with you a guided meditation to be able to help you to connect with your higher self, to connect with your emotional body, your physical body, your mental body, and to be able to activate your Merkaba, to clear any cords, to release anything that's no longer serving you, so that you may have a transformational journey into who you really are as a soul. And my work is really the basis of that, is to be able to create a portal that you can walk through, to be able to create a magic realm, dimensional realm of sound, so that you may activate your own soul. Because I'm not here to heal you, I'm only here to create a portal of love, so that you can see the truth of who you really are. I can merge with you and sing your soul song, and that's what I'd like to do in the next segment. So come back. Thank you.